Hi guys, it's Nicole and today I'm sharing my first project with the new Love Potion release from Traci. This one is a fun love themed one that's got a little bit of like a witchy twist to it. There's also like a self-love type of add-on that's got like some spa type elements as well. I will link below in the description box where you can find all of the different downloads and her store. I am still on my tried and true method of going directly to those traveler note papers because I can't get enough of them. I can get 2 prints on a letter sized sheet of paper, and I went through and printed out a bunch of my favorite patterns. And then I'm actually following a sketch from a sketch class last year, so 2024, that was offered on SCT Magazine's website. It's paid content, so I'm not going to share the sketch, but I got a little bit behind and I still had November and December's sketch to play with. So I'm using one of the modifications for December's sketch. And the reason that I wanted to mention that is this has been coming up in like some private conversations. I have a good handful of like scrapbook friends that I chat with on a daily basis. And then I have some people that kind of reach out to me, usually after I post a video or an Instagram post or I share something that I'm working on. And I get a lot of the same sort of conversations where someone will tell me that they love the collection, but they only have a regular size printer. They don't have a wide format printer. They seem to have a block that's keeping them from looking into like the hybrid print and cut type stuff that you can do at home. And it always opens the door to a fun conversation to have regarding this. I do not have a wide format printer. I have what I lovingly have been referring to as my boyfriend. I have the Canon Pixma G6020. It is linked in my Amazon. That's always linked in my video description so that you can find, there's a section on my Amazon links that says something like everything I use to print. The printer is on there, hammer mill paper is on there, the ink refills, which are only $10 each. I think I refill my ink maybe every 10 to 12 months. It lasts forever. You can clearly see it prints amazing pattern papers. I think it does a pretty decent job with photo printing. I no longer use my Epson PictureMate to print pictures at home. My boyfriend he prints everything. So I love being able to discuss how you do not need to have a wide format printer to play with hybrid products. And then I tend to go in and explain how I think one of the blocks that people have is they feel like the digital papers come in as a 12 by 12 print and they feel like they have to print that at a 12 by 12 print. Or like I've shown in videos, I can get a full 8.5 by 11 bleed all the way to the edge of the paper, and that's 11 inches is as wide as I'm going to get, not having a wide format printer. And so what usually comes up in the discussion is my plan and my method of using printed home materials. I love different styles of sketches, but I tend to already gravitate towards something that allows me to use a lot of pattern paper, whether it's in small strips like this, in hexagons, tiny squares, building your background, all kinds of things. Now, that's not to say that I don't also enjoy the sketches that have those 12-inch sections of pattern paper and kind of have more of that like wallpaper effect. There's so many different options, and because I like different things, I use them in different applications, I guess I would say. So I tend to already gravitate towards those sketches that allow for lots of little pieces of paper. And these work out really well for when you're printing at home, and maybe you're looking at the traveler's notebooks as a method to save on ink or save on the actual printing. I know some people will print out the entire collection and, in a sense, create themselves all of the different elements, and then they have everything to reach for. I tend to come up with a game plan first of either a sketch, a design in my head, kind of like the one that I posted previously where I just did 6x6s and made like a big grid in the background. I'll post it in the eye above. Either way, I come up with what I think I'm going to do before I print anything. I look at the stickers and the embellishments and the alphabets. I go through and look at the papers and figure out, what do I think I want to print? I end up printing more than I actually use, but I don't print everything. This little label that I've printed the date on is actually a good example of, I'm not going to use that, but the stickers themselves, I don't feel like it's a waste of space or a waste of ink. It's only 3 sheets if I do all of them, and it gives me a ton of embellishments. I like going through the specific alphabets and being able to build subtitles with. This layout, I actually went into the kit that's more designed for the digital scrapbooker, but I like that kit because that's where I'm going to find things like phrases. I'm going to find individual elements that aren't on the sticker sheet, and it's just going to open up a little bit more customization for my process. So I always kind of figure out, what do I want to do before I start printing? And then I'm really only printing what I need. I do tend to print a couple extra patterns than I think I'm going to need, just because a lot of times when I sit down to start working, I change my mind. And this, I'm trying to think. I think all of my February projects I worked on all at the same time. I was printing everything at the same time. There's a lot of overlapping of product and supplies. And knowing that that was going to happen, I intentionally, this month, I for sure picked sketches. And I just looked for sketches that I knew would work in conjunction with what I was going to have left. So like, this is the first thing that I made, the first cuts from those Traveler Notebook 4x8 size sections of pattern paper. I have scraps left over. Those scraps are going to end up going into my third layout. So I just pick design choices that allow me to work with a non-wide format printer. All of that to say that I didn't really discuss putting the layout together because, like I said, I keep having these like fun discussions about people saying like, oh, I love this collection. I get a lot of comments on my videos. I wish I had a wide format printer. And I want to like scream from the rafters. You don't need to have a wide format printer to enjoy these products. You just need some good quality paper to print it on, a good plan. You don't even need the full collection. A lot of times you can just go through and figure out, what do you love when you look at the marketing photos? What are you gravitating towards, and what do you feel like you would use? And bonus points for being able to print at home. What do you think that you would use over and over again? Those are the kinds of things that I tend to look at when I'm trying to navigate, all the files. There's so much good stuff in there, and I'm trying to narrow it down because I can't fit everything on here. So I tend to kind of pull my favorites first and see what happens as I continue to go through the process. Fun fact, I've done these photos before. I didn't notice until after I got done and I started looking at what am I going to work on next, and I realized I've scrapbooked these photos before. So not a big deal. What I'm going to end up doing with it being so close to this year's Valentine's Day is I'm going to intentionally make sure that when I take photos of my kids with their gift this year, that they are in the center of whatever photos that I take so that I can crop them in this square format. And I'm just going to basically cover these photos with this year's photos. This layout is too cute to have it go to waste, so I'm going to just fix that issue, but I wanted to share it with you guys today. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you find some more inspiration suggested here, and I will catch you guys next time.